Well, I'm going to go through part of my life story, but there's a lot. So, not everything. Just, I recognize when I was younger, I was very naive and had a very idyllic youth where I was very similar to most young men nowadays, where we were very much stagnant, didn't really have much in the way of opportunity or things I want to do in life. I could tell that men nowadays between the ages of 18 and 30 are just as bad or even so worse now than they were when I was younger. But I had almost no opportunity going up until probably about 2018 when I was able to leave Oregon and go to Florida. But before that, I was very socially awkward, not really there. Worked at a grocery store for 4 years where I was sexually and verbally abused on a constant basis. Going through these things, though, it was healthy for me to kind of recognize how the world was, brought me from that naivete to in the middle to understand a little bit. When I was in a relationship with Ashley for 3 years in Florida, we saw the pandemic happen. We saw the southern kindness of Florida transition to the selfish hurtfulness that became because of the pandemic. Literally, officers were told, do not pull any people over anymore or you get sick. Within 12 hours, everyone in Florida knew, everyone was breaking the speed limit, everyone was like not caring so much. Other crimes weren't happening, but they found out that they could like not get speeding tickets, so I heard people go down 90, 150 miles per hour on the speedway. People were trying to let off a little steam because they couldn't go to bars anymore. Understandable, it's Floridians, don't question them. I don't want to visit ever again because I don't think they can recover socially for what happened. The myth of Florida will go down as history as one of the most greatest and terrible existences in all of time. But when we got a little bit of money from selling the house, we traveled. I lived in Reno trying to get a job in Indianapolis. We went all the way in between. The relationship was strained and we kind of just left, and that was kind of how it is. And I learned a lot about people from all those travels. And then I saw myself plopped in Boulder about, I want to say 3 years in October, that's right. I was working as a manager of a restaurant. My bosses were not paying the employees, so we paid everyone out of the till. My roommate was angry about that, started a fight with me. I got a violence charge, I lost my job and lost everything. Became homeless of June of 2022. Thank goodness I was homeless in the middle of a warm part of the year and not in the middle of the cold like some people are now. A lot of them are really struggling. If you first become homeless in the middle of the winter out here, you are in a little bit of a trouble. If you don't get to services immediately, you have a little bit of an issue. And I was fortunate not to have that for a while. Over the years, being homeless, I was abused on many different occasions. I still don't go to the shelter because I was sexually abused 4 times and violently abused multiple times there. I still should go over there for my job on occasion, but I'm still going through the trauma. Going through all of these traumas and everything, I don't look about it in such a negative light. I think of it as learning experiences of where and who I've become over time. I mean, in the last, I would say 18 months ago, one experience happened where my ex told me, go to Netherlands, it's fine, it's great up there. She didn't tell me that there was a lot of radical, hateful people that did not like the homeless, and when I was camping at Magnolia Road, hunted down by certain individuals, and the folks come up and took me out immediately and said, yeah, it was very dangerous for you to come up here. Whoever told you to do that was trying to get you killed. And then I went back to see, it was my ex, it was my girlfriend at the time, and I took her, was like, why did you bring me there? Why was, like you said it was safe? It was like, I said it was safe for me. I didn't say anything about you. I immediately broke up with her and went back to drugs. And it was like trying to get off of it again. And then 3 months later, I had an argument with God outside the millennium. Looked and was like, why is so much happening here? I don't know if I'll get off drugs. How dare you do such things? Had a conversation with security guards saying, this is all terrible and horrible. Like, I can't remember the name of that security guard, but he was delightful. He like kind of convinced me a little bit, it met with the middle. And I was like, I don't want to deal with the God. Screw that guy, I'm done with it. Turned around the corner, lightning struck 20 feet in front of my face, and I jumped right into the ground, landed on the ground, and was like, all right, I'm a little sorry. My bad. I'll listen a little bit. I didn't get off drugs until a few months later, but at the moment, I was like over it. Shortly afterwards, I had someone coming up to me calling themselves the devil, and we smoked a little bit of crack. Not going to do that again. But when the devil comes up to you or someone who says they are, you have to I wanted to get his perspective on things. And turns out he begrudgingly kind of accepted me and was like, you're a little bit too nice for me, but we kind of need that sometimes. But I don't want to interact with him again because the devil is Oh, he's so full of himself. But he's just as with God, he isn't necessary for the world, and I'm glad that both of them find me at least a little bit necessary for the world, and they both love me or like me to some degree. If the devil can't love anyone, which everyone is capable of it, but just he's less so. And ever since I got off substances a few months later on March, that's about 9 months now, about 8 months, so I'm 8 months sober, thank you. I just drink on occasion once a month and smoke weed every day, got to. That's my mother's philosophy, so it'll be mine too. After all this time, I thought about my life as being one of two things it could be. Either be a gilded cage where it's just a beautiful area, like when I was homeless, that's what it felt like for a while. It was just a cage where there was no sense of upbringing or value, where it was no sort of substantiation of life, which was for 2 years having no more than $17. That's kind of what it felt like the whole time. But then I realized you could flip the coin, you could be the songbird and get out of the cage and realize that you may be secluded to this certain aspect of life, but it's your perspective on it, how you can use that to either be in a cage, like some people are incentivized systematically to be in the cage compared to being the bird. And the bird is free to go and do what it wants, even though the bird has rules too. It's just kind of how it is. So after all these experiences, I've been trying to find myself a balance of both light and dark in my existence, because both the light side of the existence and the dark side find good benefit and value in my life, and I've come to find the same way. And yeah, that kind of just explains it all. Yeah, that's about it.